Hey, everybody. Thanks for coming out tonight. This is the Austin Online Marketing for Entrepreneurs. My name's Nick Huggins. Unfortunately, David and Anna couldn't be here tonight, so they asked me to step in and come host for you guys. Just a few announcements before we turn it over to the speaker here. We just want to say thank you to Capital Factory for this great space here. And our other sponsor is Internet Marketing Party, which is a monthly meetup for internet marketers. You guys should come. It's awesome. I think it's the second Thursday of every month. So if you haven't heard about it, check it out. It's awesome. And and third is my company, Analytified. We do finance consulting and strategy for startups. Everything from fractional CFO to financial projections, modeling, all that fun stuff that you don't want to do. So if that's of any interest to anybody, come talk to me after this. And with that, I will introduce our speaker. Our speaker tonight is a guy named Nick Bradshaw. He's a solo entrepreneur and digital marketer who specializes in working with new and emerging and aspiring and even struggling business owners, taking their conceptual ideas and turning them into cash flowing business in 30 days or less. He has had the privilege of working amongst some of the world's best marketers, attending high-end masterminds and forming friendships that have given him the insight and fortitude to be able to report back on the structures, patterns, and frameworks that cause cash to flow as a rule and not an exception through any business, resulting in fatter wallets and heavier coin purses. So, without further ado, Nick Bradshaw.
How's everybody doing tonight? Awesome. All right, guys, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time sitting up here talking about myself because let's be honest, we're not up here to talk about me, right? We're up here to talk about how to get a better cash flowing business as soon as possible, all right? So I think that Nick did a great job with just go ahead and introducing me and kind of what my accolades are and kind of what I've been able to do within the industry. So the cool thing about this is that unlike a lot of people, I get to look into the behind the scenes aspects of a lot of different funnels, digital marketing aspects and things like that because I do have the opportunity to work for ClickFunnels itself. All right, so you guys might know who ClickFunnels is or what the company is about. And so guys, that's been able to build a whole lot of relationships with a lot of the top marketers, being in the position that I am. All right, so I'm here to kind of report back not only kind of what I teach, but a lot of the patterns that I've been able to see within the digital marketing world itself with a lot of the newcomers and entrepreneurs that are just now starting into the digital space, all right? So what I teach, guys, is a model on how to go from concept to cash flow in 30 days or less, all right? Now, guys, understand this. This is not some kind of, this isn't some kind of like magic pill, right? It's not a magic bullet. It's something like that. What I teach everybody is, from how to go from, having this concept, this big idea, and how to turn this into a cash flowing business from the day that you launch, right? Not from the day that you actually have this concept or have this idea. There's a lot of pre-work that goes into it. And from what I've seen a lot inside of the digital marketing space is that nobody wants to do the pre-work, right? Nobody wants to go in and and get into the analytics and get into the nitty gritty behind the scenes kind of stuff and actually analyze the markets that they're actually getting into before they actually go out and launch. Right, is what they want to do is they actually want to go out and chase this shiny object, a lot like the MLM world, right? If you guys are familiar with the multi-level marketing world or the network marketing world, and understand this, I'm not taking a shot at that world. I actually work a lot in that space. I've actually been able to build $1 million plus year business in the MLM space and the network marketing space itself. All right, so I understand this concept on a very deep level. Right, because I get to see it every single day with the people that I work with and the people that are coming to me and they're saying, hey, Nick, I need help with my digital marketing, right? So understand this, guys. From this point on, it's nothing. Everything that I'm teaching you guys is not theory. It's not concept, all right? It's stuff that I work with and I do on an everyday basis with every single client that I get. All right, it's the same. What I'm teaching you guys is the same process that I walk every single person through, okay? So while I'm not going to sit up here and talk about myself, I do have an agenda for tonight, okay? And so the first agenda that I have, or the first goal that I have with you guys, is to be able to teach you guys how to leverage, how to give you guys the leverage that you guys need to change your world and not the world, okay? Understand that that's a very different concept, all right? We're not up here, I'm not up here talking about taking venture capitalists and being a startup and doing all of this stuff, right? I get a lot of entrepreneurs that come to me and they're like, hey, I have this big idea to change the world. And I'm like, why? Right? Like, you don't have any capital, you don't have any money, you don't have any funds. Why do you have this idea that you want to go out and change the world? The first thing that we need to do to change the world is we need to change your world. Okay? And it starts on a very small scale. And while there is a lot of similarities that go into how these businesses are ran, whether it's big startups and VC-funded businesses versus solo entrepreneurs or digital entrepreneurs that are solo, like one-man shows, there's also a lot of differences on how they're actually ran and how they actually get off the ground and how they actually start, okay? So the second part about this is, guys, I want to teach you the frameworks and the principles that actually cause cash in your pocket as a rule and not an exception, okay? If you guys are out there, and so there's a lot of you guys out there that are probably inside of the digital marketing space right now, and I work with a lot of other people inside of the digital marketing space that they come to me and they might have had like 1 or 2 successes inside of the space, but they have no idea like what's actually turning the dollar inside of their business. They don't know how to repeat it. They don't know how to duplicate it. They have no idea. Like they hit gold on the very first time, and so they go out and like that well runs dry, and they try and turn back around and recreate something. They have no idea what actually caused the cash in their pocket. It's a very scary place to be. All right. So the third goal that I have for tonight is to actually show you guys a brand new path to funnel building success and digital marketing success. Okay, is that fair enough? All right, so guys, before I get into this, I do have a couple of questions for you guys, and here's what I promise, because I absolutely hate boring speakers, okay? So I promise to the best of my degree, I'm not gonna be a boring speaker, right? But if I'm not gonna be a boring speaker, then I need you guys not to be a boring audience. Right, so I'm gonna ask you guys a couple of questions. I need a little bit of audience engagement, right? I feed off of the crowd. I feed off of the audience in and of itself. So if you guys are flat, I'm gonna be flat as well, right? I don't normally speak in like small engagements like this. So this is kind of something new to me, and honestly, I'm kind of nervous. All right, you guys will see that I do talk fast. I do walk around a lot because I am a very big fan of perpetual motion, all right? So guys, first question I have for you guys, how many of you guys out there are digital marketers right now? By a show of hands. Okay, out of you guys right now, how many of you guys are brand new? 6 months, 12 months, just getting your feet wet? Okay. How many of you guys right now are currently struggling to get off the ground like the business that you have? Right, when I say like struggling to get it off the ground, I'm talking about like hard to make an impact, right? Like you're not getting the income that you want right now. You're struggling to make an impact. You're struggling to actually get out there and achieve the goals that you wanted to achieve. And guys, nobody's going to judge you here, right? Show of hands. Okay, why? Out of the people who raised your hand, why? Anybody want to answer? Time. Anybody else? Product's not ready? Okay. Anybody else? Patience. Patience is a big one. Not enough customers. Okay. Understanding the market. It's a huge one. Okay. I'm actually probably going to talk a lot about that in particular tonight. Okay. So I've got a presentation for you guys tonight. To be honest with you guys, I know the frameworks in my head well enough that I'm probably going to call a couple of audibles. All right. So what I'm talking about here, it might not actually meet up with the slides itself. Okay. So, guys, I've been able to work with a lot of just new green entrepreneurs. That's like what I start. That's my bread and butter, okay? And the reason for that is because just about a year and a half ago, I was that person, okay? I started this game about 3 years ago, and I just struggled a lot. I didn't understand it. I didn't know why. But guys, here's the thing, right? Virtually every new funnel builder or digital entrepreneur starts this way. They get introduced to a new thing, which is digital marketing. Right? They get excited, they get curious, and that curiosity then breeds excitement, and they start doing some research on it, right? And so once they start doing some research, it kind of cycles back through. The more research that they do, the more excited that they get, the more curious that they get, and then the more research that they do, right? And eventually is what it does is it turns into the imagination. You start imagining things like, what could it do for my business? What could it do for my life if I was able to just add $1,000 a month, $2,000 a month, $3,000 a month, $10,000 a month? Like, what would it do to change your world if that's what you could add to your business? And a lot of people start that way. They start as a business opportunity to start a better life for themselves, right? So eventually is what happens. They end up getting like enough cojones, right? To actually go out and try the new thing that they've been sitting there researching and spending all of this time learning, right? But it's what they don't know is that it's gonna, by trying this new thing, they're gonna be met with a bunch of challenges that they did not know that they were gonna have. It's stuff that could not be foreseen into the marketplace. It's not stuff that they could have imagined that they would ever find challenges in because it's nothing that they've been taught, right? And so the challenges, after time and time and time again of actually trying, eventually run into frustration, okay? And so I know this very well because like I told you guys, I was that person. Sitting back a year and a half ago, I had like $1,000 in my bank account, and me and my wife were sitting at like Torchy's, and we were sitting there asking ourselves, and she's like, Nick, is this gonna be the one? And I'm sitting there like with my fingers crossed behind my back, and I'm like, I hope so. You know, but like I'm sitting there like beating on my chest with some bravado, and I'm like, of course, yes, this is absolutely 100% going to be the one, right? And so I understand this process very, very well. And it was about this time that I got introduced to a guy named Steve Larson. Anybody know who Steve is? Okay, Steve was the right-hand funnel builder for Russell Brunson for a long time at ClickFunnels. Okay, like he was the guy who made all the magic happen. He built all of the funnels. He's seriously accredited for building over 500 successful funnels. When I say 500 successful funnels, I'm talking about $100,000 or more, okay? And so I've been lucky enough to actually have Steve as a mentor, all right? And so when I was talking to Steve and I was sitting here and we were talking about my struggles and we were talking about all of the things that I've done, like the 13 different business tries that I had tried, the 13 different funnels that I had tried, and I was sitting there and I'm like, Steve, like what gives? All right, something's got to give, right? And he's like, well, he said, you just don't know the frameworks and principles behind what actually turn turn money into your pocket. And I'm like, okay, cool. Tell me more, Steve. You know, I'm like, I have no idea what you're freaking talking about, but I'd like to learn more. And so eventually Steve was like, the frameworks and the principles are the stuff that is repeatable, duplicable, and predictable. Meaning that when you actually go out and launch a funnel, that you've done all of the stuff that is going to cause money in your pocket as a rule and not an exception. I'm like, all right, Steve, cool, but tell me more, right? And so, guys, basically, the rest of this presentation is going to be basically what Steve has told me and what I've learned from Steve, and exactly how this turned into cash in my pocket. All right. So, that being said, at that point, Steve gave me a few resources. He said, look, I'm building funnels for guys like Grant Cardone and Tony Robbins. I don't have a whole lot of time to be able to do this, but here's what I can tell you. I'm going to give you a list of resources that you can go out and research and study and do. And by the time that you actually go out and read these things and do the studying and do the pre-work that's actually done, then we can sit back and have a conversation. And he actually wanted me to go out and do the work, right? Which is kind of crazy. Do the work. Huh. So anyways, so he gave me a list of resources, he gave me a list of books, and the books are Expert Secrets, Dot-Com Secrets, Pitch Anything, The Innovator's Dilemma, Ready, Fire, Aim by Michael Masterson, Play Bigger and Niche Down. Okay? Now, a lot of you guys might have been able to read those. Some of you guys are probably looking at me with wide eyes like, Nick, what the hell kind of books are those? I get it, right? There's a lot of those, a lot of people don't know. They just don't understand, right? So, at this point, I was able to build my own frameworks, okay? I went out and I read the books, I did the pre-work, I understood on a deeper level what Steve was doing, and basically what Steve was doing, by doing that and repeating it and being able to, kind of just go back and kind of reverse engineer it, I was able to build my own frameworks that caused cash in my own pocket, okay? Based on what Steve was teaching and based on the books that I had read. So at this point, I was introduced to a quote by Archimedes. It says, give me a lever long enough and a fulcrum which to place it, and I shall move the world, okay? But again, if we refer back to rule number 1, I'm talking about changing your guys' world and not the world as a whole, all right? So basically what I've got is this, all right? And the whole point behind that 10-minute introduction or 15-minute introduction is this, right? There's 5 different frameworks, and I'm not gonna be able to have the time to actually dig into each one of these, just because of, we only have 45 minutes here. But based on these 5 frameworks, if you guys introduce these things in order, the way that they are actually done, it's gonna cause cash in your pocket, okay? So those 5 frameworks. First one's mindset. I've done a whole lot of coaching in the entrepreneur space, And the first thing that I've understood is that while I thought when I got into coaching, I was going to be teaching a whole lot of like cool like digital marketing tactics and tricks and the shiny objects and all of this stuff, the very first thing that I found is that I can't get into any of that because 90% of the students that I have, their mind is not in the proper place to receive the knowledge that I'm going to give them. Okay? In some point or the other, they're stuck in that frustration zone, and they can't receive it. They don't believe in themselves enough to actually sit there and say, this is something that I can do. All right? The second part is the actual knowledge that is needed to be had. All right? The third part is market analytics. Again, we're talking about pre-work here, guys. We're talking about knowledge, we're talking about market analytics, the stuff that nobody actually wants to do. The fourth part is actually a winning offer, and then the fifth part is the funnel itself. Okay? What I found though is that if you have to do these things in order, one by the other, otherwise this is gonna fail. And you have to have all five, and you have to do it 100% in order, otherwise you're not gonna have a winning offer, you're not gonna have a funnel that converts, and you're not gonna have cash in your pocket. All right? So guys, digging into the first framework a little bit, mindset. When we actually get to the point of having challenges and frustrations inside of our business, we're gonna be met with what I like to call the ego line, okay? So this ego line is what's really going to determine who you are. It's gonna determine your identity in this space just as a whole, okay? It's gonna determine whether you guys fail or succeed, and it's your own ego that's actually doing it. It's nothing more. It doesn't have anything to do with the offer or the funnel or customers or anything else. It's your own ego that's going to hold you back, all right? So if we go back in another book that actually Steve recommended, it's called Ego is the Enemy by Ryan Holiday. And inside of this book, he actually says, what is the ego? The ego is the part of the mind that mediates between the conscious and the unconscious and is responsible for reality testing and a sense of personal identity, okay? And if you guys actually want to be successful in this game, the first thing that you have to do is kill the ego. And how do we do that? We do that by being humble when ambitious, graceful when successful, and resilient when we fail. The most important part of all three of those is being resilient when you fail, right? Because you're gonna fail, and you're gonna fail repeatedly, and you're gonna fail over and over and over and over again. It's just gonna happen. The things that you guys are successful at today are not going to be successful tomorrow. Shit's gonna change. And you have to be able to be amiable and change with it. There's so many people that actually go into like affiliate marketing, and then they complain that something changed. And it's like, why? You guys understand you don't control the cart. Quit bitching about it. Adapt. All right? So when we actually crush the ego line, we stomp on it a little bit, then we can actually get to the point where we can actually refocus, replan, and get to enter the profit zone. Okay? Einstein was quoted with saying that the more knowledge that you have, the lesser the ego that you have. The lesser the knowledge that you have, the more the ego that you have. So that brings us into the next mindset or the next framework, which is actually knowledge. Okay? And so if you accept the fact that ego was the enemy and you have to defeat the ego in order to be, to gain success inside of this world, the second thing you have to say is, well, if knowledge is it, what do I know how to learn? Right? Like, what are the things that I'm supposed to learn? And the thing that I've actually found is that most people do this ass backwards. Okay? So again, if we want to change the answers that we're getting, we have to actually first change the questions that we're asking. Knowledge is very easy to obtain. We live in the information age. You can literally go onto Google with any question that comes up in your head, type it into Google, and within 5 seconds have an answer. It's not hard. Right? I get so many people who ask me a question, I'm like, freaking Google it. All right? But again, the hard part's not actually getting the answers, it's knowing the questions to ask. Okay? So when I was actually struggling, and all the struggles that I had, the questions that I was asking myself are, what funnel should I build first? Right? I come into the space and I say, what funnel do I build? It's the common thing. It's the common denominator. Everybody gets in. It's very easy to like open the software and just go to work, right? Or think that you're going to work. It's the fun part. You actually get to go and be creative, right? The entrepreneur in all of us says, I want to go out and be creative. I want to build something, right? Something no one's ever seen. So the first thing they do is they ask, like, well, what funnel do I build? And I'm like, wrong question. And say, okay. And the next thing they say is, well, what do I sell? What's the product that I sell? And I'm like, no, wrong question. So the next thing they say, well, what should my sales message be? Still not getting it, right? Who here has gone through this process? Be honest, no one's judging, right? I guarantee you that when you guys first started, I 100% guarantee it, this is the exact process that you went through. I have yet to get somebody who's green in under 6 months that has not gone through this process. Because I've taught a lot of entrepreneurs and digital marketers. I'm going on 100 now. Haven't seen one yet that hasn't gone through this process. The next question that everybody asks is, who should I sell it to? Right? Now I've got they're sitting there and they're going like this. Well, I built my funnel. I got a product to sell. I wrote my sales message. Now, Nick, who should I sell it to? I'm telling you guys, it's backwards, okay? Not only is this the complete wrong thing to do, the complete wrong questions in the wrong order to do this in, but it's missing the most important key, right? And the important key is, what is marketing in and of itself? And I had to learn this the hard way, guys. I came from the sales world, okay? The moment that I learned what sales was and what marketing was and the difference between them, my wallet got a whole lot fatter, okay? And I'm just being honest, all right? So who here can tell me what marketing is?
I was going to say salesmanship at scale, but you just said they're totally different. So.
Okay, anybody else?
Awareness of a product and service.
Awareness of product and service. Anybody else?
Say brand awareness.
Brand awareness, okay. Anybody else?
Analyzing how people spend money on what.
Analyzing how people spend money on what? The problem is, guys, go ahead. The ability to reach your market. Your message. Guys, we just asked 6 different people and got 6 different answers. Okay? This is the problem. The reason that a lot of people fail is because nobody knows how to actually define marketing. If you actually go out and Google what is marketing, you're gonna find like 72 freaking definitions of it. That's an issue, okay? Guys, marketing is not logos or slogans or colors or branding or anything else, okay? Marketing is simply the act of changing one's belief with the intent of making a sale. Very simple, 1-sentence definition. I'm gonna say it again because it's important. It's simply the act of changing one's beliefs with the intent of making a sale. All right, so if you guys accept that as truth, the next question that we have to ask is, how do we actually change someone's beliefs? Okay? Guys, understand this. That belief is upheld by the story that we tell ourselves.
How's that different than sales?
How is that different than sales? Because marketing pushes, or sales pushes and marketing pulls. Okay? I'm not changing your belief with sales. I changed your belief with my sales message. Yeah. But that's not actually marketing.
Yeah.
Why is that not marketing? The simple answer to that, 2 different things, okay? When you actually go out and you sell something to someone, you have somebody face to face, right? Or you have somebody watching a video, you have somebody visiting your page, but how did they actually get there? Did you sell them something to get there?
Yep.
You sold someone something to get there to sell them something else.
Yes.
So what did you do before that? Is this just a world of sale, 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 sale?
When you sold them to get there, you sold them that it's worth their time to sit and watch this.
By doing what?
Selling.
By changing their belief about what you're selling?
No.
Elaborate.
I'm not trying to like hack one.
No, hey, I love it. I love it. Hey, we can go back and forth all day. But how did you get them there? That's the question.
They already want something.
They already want something. How do you know what they want?
Well, that would be data, and it's not that difficult. A lot of us want money. That's why we're here.
A lot of you guys want money, and that's why you're here. Understand this. At some point, you got here by somebody marketing. You want to start a business online. Somebody has changed your belief to say that by starting a business online is how you're going to get money. All right, and they did that through their marketing, not their sales. Did anybody make a sale for you to get here right now? Like an actual sale? Was there a monetary transaction for you to get here right now? You want to make money right now, but did you actually go through a monetary transaction to get here? It was marketing. It was marketing. Somebody changed your belief. Somebody changed your belief in order to sit your butt in that seat. Okay? You had an idea that by being here, you were going to make more money. Okay? Whether that was reading the description in the AUSOME meetup on the event site, Or maybe it was just your own personal opinion, but somebody changed your opinion, somebody changed your belief that by being here, you were going to come out of this event making more money. There was not a monetary transaction, so it couldn't be sales, and it had to be marketing. Marketing is simply the act of changing someone's beliefs with the intent to make a sale. Okay? It happens before the actual sale. No, I'm not arguing. I'm just proving a point. The point is that there's a difference between marketing and sales. Anyhow, all right? Marketing is simply the act of changing one's beliefs, okay? So if we actually get into this and we understand how belief is upheld, understand this, that belief is upheld, when you actually go and pitch something to somebody, you're talking, there's 3 different parts of the brain, okay? You're talking about the croc brain, the midbrain, and the neocortex. And all 3 of those are responsible for different aspects. What we think that we're doing, we're actually pitching somebody or we're marketing to somebody, is talking to the neocortex where logic is held. It's not the case. Logic is, the first thing that we actually do when we actually make a pitch, and this is actually upheld by Orrin Clef, this is where I learned this, in his book called Pitch Anything, okay? And basically what he says is the croc brain is actually a picky and cognitive miser that's only existent, the only reason it exists is to actually be able to, is for instinct survival, okay? And so when you actually pitch somebody, the first thing, the way the information is upheld inside of the brain, it first passes through the croc brain, goes to the midbrain, and then goes to the neocortex. Okay, so the croc brain is like the fight or flight. When you see something new, it goes, what do I do with it? Do I mate with it? Do I fight it? Do I run from it? Do I eat it? Like, what do I do? If it seems that it's something that is something that it's seen before, it's automatically going to dismiss it. Its whole job is to make the brain, the rest of the brain, do less work. When it's something new, it passes up to the midbrain. The midbrain is actually where emotion and logic and story is upheld. Okay? So like the thing, like if little Johnny at 5 years old becomes scared of clowns, when he's 31 years old, he's still gonna be scared of clowns because of what the story that's upheld inside of the midbrain. Okay? And in order to change that belief of clowns are scary, you actually have to change the story of around clowns. Okay? So, going from there, the third framework of this is actually market design. Okay? And so this is where like a lot of the pre-work has to happen too. Okay? Once we actually get through and understand the questions that have to be asked and the order that they actually have to be asked, we finally actually get to go into like the real pre-work behind marketing. All right? So the first question that you should really be asking when it comes to market design is, what market do I sell in? Okay? There's 3 core markets. Everything stems out of these three core markets. Everything else is a sub-niche of these. It's health, wealth, and relationships, okay? If, for instance, we're up here talking about digital marketing is a sub-niche of the wealth industry, okay? We're talking about funnels. Funnels is a sub-niche of the digital marketing industry, okay? Same thing with like affiliate marketing, drop shipping, whatever it is, it's a sub-niche of that. And what we have to actually do is we have to learn how to actually niche down and get into the red market that we're actually coming from, right? Once we can answer the market that we're actually coming out of, the bigger market and the sub-niches, then we can finally move on, right? The next question that we should be asking ourselves is, who do I sell to in that market, okay? So understand this, a market is all consisted of 3 different, there's an ecosystem around every single market, okay? Out of this ecosystem, it consists of 2 things, both buyers and sellers. And in order to understand like who we're actually selling to, we have to understand both sides of that market. We have to understand who the category king is of the market itself, how they're distributing the things that they are, the information that they're giving them, like how are they actually delivering the products that they are, right? And so a lot of this comes down to like marketers are drug dealers, okay? When I say that, I'm talking about the drugs that are actually created from your brain, inside your brain, and by your brain. I'm talking about dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins. The way that people actually submit this information, the way that your beliefs are changed, are by administering those things to you through their sales message, through their messaging and how they're actually marketing to you, okay? Beyond that, there's 3 personas of every market. The 1s, the 2s, and the 3s, okay? The 1s are the people who are, like the diehards. Imagine the 1s as like the people, if you were sitting in a room watching a Super Bowl with 2 opposing fans, are you ever going to be able to convince one fan that the other team's better? No. Those are the 1s in the market, okay? For instance, I work for ClickFunnels. I'm a digital marketer. I use ClickFunnels to run my business. It's produced a lot of cash for me. Would you ever be able to convince me that Builderall is better? No. It's just not going to happen. It's consumed my identity of who I am. It would be stupid for Builderall to ever market to me, right? The twos are the bargain hunters. They're the people who have seen some success in whatever it is that they're doing, but they're there for a bargain, right? You know you're talking to the twos when somebody asks you and say, well, what features do you have that the other platform doesn't? Or how much cheaper are you than somebody else? The other way you can talk to the twos, or you understand that you're talking to twos, is when somebody asks you, well, what's the ROI of whatever it is that you're selling? They're only there for features and benefits. That's the only way that you can actually get them, right? You know that you're talking to the twos. You know that you're fighting in that market when you're sitting there with bonus wars and feature wars and things like that, right? When you have to sit there and just have feature war after feature war to get somebody to change, you know you're talking to the twos. The third persona of the market are the people who are in the market, but they hate it. The only reason that they're there is because they don't know anything else, okay? They literally are actively seeking for something else. They just don't know any better. And it's very easy to actually acquire the threes because all you have to do is introduce something new to them, right? Like, hey, like, did you know that you don't have to do that anymore? And I've got this over here. It's very easy to get them to go over to the new blue ocean that you're creating, okay? So question number 3, how do I actually get them to leave? Well, guys, it's very easy. If you guys actually understand the ones and the twos, if you guys understand who the market is, how the market's interacting within the current ecosystem, they're gonna tell you what to sell them, all right? So where most people actually come out and they ask themselves, like, well, what funnel do I build and then what do I sell? I'm telling you right now, the reason that that is wrong is because you're not listening to the market. You haven't done the market research and market analytics to actually be able to tell what they actually want, okay? And so I understand that the reason that this happens, if you guys ever read the books Expert Secrets and .com Secrets, or Blue Blue Ocean Analytics, right? Or what's the actual book? Blue Ocean Shift, I think is the actual book. Is what they talk about is they talk about red oceans and blue oceans. And the red oceans are the bloodied waters that everybody exists in right now. It's, you know, for instance, if you were talking about digital marketing, the biggest digital marketing platform in the world right now is ClickFunnels, okay? ClickFunnels is a very red ocean when it comes to that. If you're trying to get somebody to leave the red ocean and go to the blue ocean, how do you actually do that? Right? Well, in .com Secrets, they tell you to actually, you know, the whole book, the thesis behind .com Secrets is, well, model what works. Don't do anything new. Just model success. Everybody's already laid the path for you. And the opposite, in Expert Secrets, it tells you, well, is what you need to do is you need to create a blue ocean. Don't do what anybody else has ever done before. You need to be completely prolific, right? Get this completely brand new ocean that no one's ever played in before, and that's what you actually need to go do. It leaves a lot of people very confused, all right? And so what I actually propose, and what I tell my students to do, is that if you actually have a red ocean and a blue ocean, we have this prolific index, okay? Has anybody ever seen the documentary Eat the Sun? So basically, inside of Eat the Sun, the whole thesis behind the story is that basically a bunch of people go out and they say that they don't have to eat. All they have to do to get all the nutrients that they ever need is they just need to go look at the sun, right? That's very freaking prolific. That's the crazy zone. That's a blue ocean that nobody plays in, right? But if you're following the blue ocean strategy, why wouldn't you go there? It's the crazy zone. Right here in the middle is the red. It's mainstream. It's what everybody's doing right now. What I teach my students to do, what causes cash as a rule instead of an exception, is to play here in the purple zone, right? Halfway in between the blue, halfway in between the red. You say, well, how do you do that? The problem with going into the blue is that it's put out in the book, The Innovator's Dilemma. A market that does not exist yet, it cannot possibly be analyzed. That's some scary shit. If you're going completely blue, you have no idea what that market wants. You're literally trying to create a market out of nothing. You cannot create what does not exist. not as a solo entrepreneur, maybe as a VC or a VC funded business, something that's trying to change the world. But if you're just trying to change your world, that's a scary place to play, okay? So what I teach everybody is not only do you create your blue ocean, or what I call the purple ocean, which is halfway in between the blue and the red, right? You create it with the red ocean and from the red ocean, right? So basically what I'm talking about here is what you really have to do is you have to go out and you have to analyze the red market. The red ocean is going to tell you every single thing that they possibly want to get out of it. How many people have experienced this? Right? If you actually go out and you ask for like positive reviews, how many do you get? But if somebody has a bad experience, how likely are they to tell you what they want? 10 times more likely. I worked in the car industry for a long time. If for every person that walked out of the car industry happy, you maybe got 1 review. If you had 10 people walk out that were unhappy, you're gonna get 10 reviews. Right? People want to bitch and moan and complain as much as they possibly can. They're going to tell you. All you have to do is ask. Ryan Levesque actually expressed this very well in his book, The Ask Campaign, or Ask. Okay? So basically, to sum this up, you take parts of the red ocean, to extend them out into the blue ocean, you actually take the red ocean and you sell it back to them. You sell what they want back to them with just a dab of something new. Right? The 5th framework is the actual funnel itself. All right? The first thing that we have to understand about the funnel is, guys, it's just a tool on how to enter the market. All right? The reason that it's wrong to actually go in and do this first is because you don't know how to enter the market. The funnel itself, the reason that there's like 47 different types of funnels is because they have a very symbiotic relationship to actually the market itself, your business, and the correlation to where you stand in the market and the product that you offer, and your sales message. If you don't have all 4 of those things, you guys are actually building the wrong funnel. I guarantee it, okay? And so when I actually look at this, how many of you guys know what the value ladder is? Or have heard of a value ladder? Okay. So basically a value ladder is the entrepreneur's business plan. It's the only business plan you'll ever need, I promise. All right? And so basically is what I'm saying, and what the value ladder is how you start down at the bottom and you monetize somebody up the value ladder, okay? If you only have one product, you don't have a business. That might offend somebody. It is what it is. But if you only have one product, you don't have a business. Not in the digital marketing world. All right? So the value ladder is actually separated into 3 different things, okay? So the bottom down there is actually where you would go into customer acquisition. A lot of people go in and they start in the customer acquisition phase because they think that they need customers to actually be able to sell, right? I need a mass amount of customers to actually buy my product. You don't. Where I teach actually people to start is right in the middle. Why? Because if you actually start in the middle and you start with a product that's actually in like the $300 to $1,000 range, I like to actually start right around more like $500 to $1,000. This works best with info products, right? A lot of the customers that I work with are selling info products. But if you start with that and you have the profit margin to actually be out and go and advertise your business or your product, it takes a lot less customers to actually become profitable. If you sell 1,000 customers, a $1,000 product, you make $1 million. All right? The other part about that is that if you're selling a $1,000 product and it's an info product and it's all profit. The actual cost to actually sell that product is zero. Right? So you have $1,000 in marketing spend to actually go out and acquire one customer. If you're selling a $7 ebook, you have $7 to go and acquire one customer. In today's marketing spend, it's very hard to actually go out and do that. You're not going to be able to find the customers because a lot of people don't bet on themselves enough to actually go out and spend $10,000 and allow Facebook or Instagram or Pinterest or whatever marketing, or Google or whatever marketing platform that you're on, you don't actually allow them to actually go out and find the customers because of the small marketing spend. But the other part about that is I guarantee you that if I have $1,000 to go out and spend in ads, I'm going to be able to find somebody who's going to buy a $1,000 product. If I have a $7 product, I got to go out and find 142 people to go out and make $1,000. Why would I ever do that? I want it. All right? So by now you guys should realize that what I'm teaching here, it's 80% of the pre-work that needs to be done. Before you actually go out and build a funnel, before you ever go out and say, oh, well, this is the product that I should probably be selling, before you actually ever go out and say, what's my sales message, 80% of this has to do with the pre-work that is actually done before you actually get into the funnel building game, okay? Once you guys understand this, it becomes a whole lot easier. The creative part goes away. The understanding, what do I sell, goes away. The understanding of the sales message, everything, it just goes away because the market's literally telling you what to do. And when you put it out there, the market's gonna vote with their wallet, right? You no longer have to ask yourself like, oh, is this a winning idea? How many times I get asked like, hey, Nick, do you think this is a good idea? I'm like, I don't know. Has the market voted with their wallet? Have you got anybody to sell it to? Have you went out and just extended the offer to your friends and family? The answer is 99% of the time, no, all right? So, guys, what I'm actually proposing is that you flip the whole model upside down, all right? The way that we should be asking ourselves is not, what funnel should I build? What do I sell? What should my sales message be? And then who should I sell it to? It's what market do I sell into first? It's who do I sell to in that market, the ones, twos, or threes? And then how do I speak to them, right? After what I've learned from them, how do I actually speak to them? All right, they're gonna tell me what they want, and then I can actually go out and create the offer, and then create the funnel that correlates with the offer in the market. All right, 4 and 5 are very easy once 1, 2, and 3 are done. All right, so hey, that's what I've got tonight, guys. And if you guys have any questions about this, I'll be around, and I'm probably gonna go out and grab a drink at the bar.
Anybody got questions?
What's up, man?
First off, thanks for the presentation.
No worries.
Really appreciated it and learned a lot. And my question was, if you're ditching, you said at the end your advice is to go more for the mid-tier of pricing to start,
Yes.
which I liked. But if you're ditching the front-end product, how do you get these people into a sale through that? Are you just doing consulting sessions where they're selling them personally one-on-one on a phone, or is this through an influencer pool and your friends are selling it to their list? Or how do you get somebody to go from $0 to 3 to 1,000 for an info product, not even a consulting, something specific?
It's a good question. No, so it could be consulting, it can be an info product, it could be anything inside of that nature, right? Info products is what I suggest to a lot of my clients. I actually vet my clients, and I only take on certain ones that I know that can have a profitable business model. Okay. That being said, the way that I actually suggest that this is done is you're not necessarily ditching the front end model. I'm just telling you to start in the middle. Okay. Once you start in the middle and you have $1,000 of ad spend, right, to get one client. You go out and you spend that $1,000 of ad spend. If you know the market well enough and they're telling you exactly what they want, and you know the product that you actually have to create, and then you actually go out and create it, and you have a sales message that's sexy enough that's going to speak to them, all you're literally, the chances of you're stacking the deck in your favor, okay? So the chances of you actually going out and acquiring one customer and $1,000 of ad spend is astronomical. All right, and then what we do is we monetize them up, and then we can actually get into the customer acquisition phase. Right, in the book, Michael Masterson says in the book, Ready, Fire, Aim, that your whole purpose from building a business from 0 to 1 million is customer acquisition, okay? The fallacy with this is that if I actually go out and I spend, and I'm acquiring customers, and it takes me $7 to acquire one customer, right, or $15 to acquire one customer, or $20 to acquire one customer, or get somebody onto an email list or something along those lines, you have the ad spend of going for a low tripwire offer of $7 to $37 or something like that. You have to be able to know your market super well and be able to optimize your funnel to get those conversions at a super high rate in order to be successful. Okay, when I'm talking about this, when there's 3 different levels of how you can actually monetize your business. All right, and so those 3 different levels are either it's acquire more customers, get customers to spend more money, or get customers to spend more money more often, okay? And that's the 3 levels of the value ladder. When you talk about intro level, tripwire offers and things like that, that's for customer acquisition. I'm talking, those are for VC funded people who can afford to spend $60 to acquire one customer or one trial or one book, and then be able to ascend them up their value ladder because they know that the lifetime value of one customer is going to be $300 instead of the $37 that they spent, right?
So you're talking to these people on the phone or
From zero to 300, you can absolutely do it with the sales page.
Just a video on a page?
Yeah, from $300 to $1,000, I would recommend doing something like a webinar, a video sales letter, a training course, a product launch course, something along those lines to where you are nurturing that customer along the line. But no, I personally have never spent any time on the phone with anybody. I have not done one sales call.
So when you normally talk to normal students, you're saying, okay, go for this 300 to start, go for the 300 to $1,000 price range. You're recommending that they do like webinars?
Yeah, webinars, course trainers, anything like that. Like your front end product could be literally an entire course that teaches whatever that you're going to teach, right? Give the value up front so that they want it, and then they believe in you enough to actually go out and buy your product, right? But understand that the customers that you're talking to, if you've done the market research and you've done the steps 1, 2, 3 in those frameworks, by the time that you're actually talking to a customer, you're talking to the 3s. It's very easy to get them to go out and say, I hate what I'm doing right now. The only reason that I'm doing it is because there's no other option, and I just present another option. For instance, the reason that I sell into the MLM space is because there's so many people out there that hate the model, the 1960s model of selling to your friends and family. Everybody hates it, right? Their friends hate it, their family hates it, everybody hates it. So if I go out there and tell them, hey, I've got this blue ocean over here that's called funnels that you don't ever have to talk to your friends or family or anybody else in, right? And you don't have to do all the things that you hate, but I'm going to teach you how to do it for $1,000. I don't have to spend time on the phone with them. They do it like that. And the conversion rate is high because I know who I'm talking to. I write my sales message to talk to the 3s. 90% of sales messages are written for the 1s and 2s, and it makes no damn sense.
Yeah, you listed off some books earlier. I can keep up without titles.
Yeah, no worries, man. So the books that I listed off that Steve gave me were Expert Secrets, .com Secrets, Ready, Fire, Aim, Pitch Anything, Play Bigger, and Niche Down. Niche Down, Niche Down, however you guys want to say it. I'm from the Midwest, so.
Is there a market research book? Is one of those the market research books?
The market research book that I would probably recommend, and this is another one that I should probably say, is Blue Ocean Strategy. But a lot of what you're going to learn as far as market research and things like that go can be done in a lot of those different books. They're all going to teach a portion of it. Anybody else?
If anyone wanted to work with you or find out more about you, how do they do that?
So I'm actually transitioning right now from, I had a website called My First Sales Funnel that I taught a course on that was completely hands-off, right? I'm actually transitioning now into, my website is called the Icarus Project. And so just a little background on the Icarus Project. If you guys have been in business for any amount of time, it's called the Icarus Paradox. Anybody know what the Icarus Paradox is? All right, so basically what it is that it's the, Icarus was a Greek god way back when, and his whole thing, the fallacy that happened was that they were enslaved and they built wings to be able to fly off. Right? And so what happened is that Icarus then took his wings and he flew too high to the sun, and it melted the wax that glued the wings together. And so basically the idea of the Icarus paradox is that with businesses in and of itself, they get too close to their own product. Okay? They get too close to their own idea, they get too close to their own strategy. And so I named my business the Icarus Project off of that theory. Right? Basically teaching people that what you think you know, you don't know. And by being too close to it, by not having the outside analysis, by not having somebody else to actually go out there and guide you and coach you and doing exactly what should be done, you're probably doing it wrong. And your own ideas and your own theories are probably going to be what's your downfall. So the IcarusProject.io is where you guys can find me. Thanks for coming out tonight, guys, and I appreciate you guys' time.